or pork, but then I said I had to give up my fish. I don't know about that. But he said to do it, and he gave me supplements to buy, and I spent a lot of money. And I am 22 pounds lighter. The things are just about all gone. I'm living and breathing testimony. I'm 52 years old.
That's amazing. And Mike, she was 55 when she came to see me. Working fast.
But I had a question, and the lovely lady in the back that's a special ed teacher touched my heart because recently my son was diagnosed with depression. He's 13 years old. And something's wrong with that picture.
Exactly.
And Dr. Baruch, I'm supposed to be bringing him to you soon, but I want to know again, am I feeding him the wrong things? I mean, he's so down. And I don't believe that a child that age can be depressed. 13 years of age, how can that be? Can you give me some insight about that?
Well, again, we understand, Dr. Amen mentioned about the opiate receptors inside of the brain. There are a whole lot of receptors inside of the brain that are receiving these short-chain amino acids, okay? So these proteins, these short-chain proteins are going into the brain, and the brain is not receiving them as it should. In addition to that, they're very inflammatory. So they're causing the inflammation of brain tissue, which prevents the brain from functioning like it should, as well as other parts of the body. And that causes the breakdown of our system, okay? So, and we also have to bear in mind that that child is more than likely looking at television and being a part of that whole electronic world now, the video games and everything else, and it's wearing them out. It's moving too fast, and then they jump back into this world and it's too slow, and they can't adjust. So you've now got them stuck in this time warp. We need to, are you listening to me?
Girl is over there having a conversation. Oh my God.
She said, I am listening to everyone talking to me about some information. It's okay.
I just found out that your sister, Cynthia, we grew up together. I grew up with you.
Your sister is blocking you, Doc. But that's a very good point. Continue, Doc.
Okay, so my sister, right, okay. No, but, so what we're talking about is the inflammation in the food. So we need, I know you and I talked about it. He's governing what he's eating. He's got to stop. You got to govern what he eats. You got to take control of your house. But that's the only way.
It's hard. What's harder? Having them on drugs? That's really hard.
Hey, while I got everybody's attention, please pass that book around and make sure everybody's put their names and email addresses and telephone numbers inside of that.
Please get an email address.
Right.
It's 2008, for God's sake.
And it's like,
I have no idea, but if you don't get the book, just go to Mingo City like I told you all every day and just join the news. You don't have to join the website, but just put your information on Mingo City and I'll make sure the doctor's information gets out to you guys. Yes.
Hi everybody, my name is Amber and I just had a son in August and I wanted to share my experience about the whole birthing process, I guess. But I went to Holy Cross Hospital and I intended on having a natural birth, but I guess it wasn't moving along as fast as they wanted to, so they ended up giving me an epidural and all of that stuff and break my water, and nothing really was seeming to happen. And I just wanted to share my experience because they put the epidural in, I guess, wrong, and I ended up having an emergency C-section. And I kept on telling them, okay, it's in crooked. I can still feel things. And I went in and I said, they asked me, does this hurt? I said, yes, this hurts. Are you sure it's not pressure? I said, no, it hurts. And I had the anesthesiologist end up putting his hand over my mouth. I guess to fly me up for other people in maternity ward, wouldn't get frightened and everything. And, it was my first pregnancy and everything, I was a vegan once upon a time, but, I started eating chicken.
Actually.
Right,
the barnyard pimp. The barnyard pimp.
Yeah, and then also, I also wanted to breastfeed, but I wasn't comfortable with being on so many narcotics and whatnot. Breastfeeding. I asked the nurse, I said, is this going to hurt him if I was to breastfeed? And they said, no, it won't hurt, but something told me, it's not right. But I ended up finding out a week later on the news that someone else was breastfeeding on those narcotics, and their child ended up dying through overdose, through the breast milk.
Well, you know, the good news, tell me your name.
Amber.
Amber. The good news, Amber, is that I am certain, I can look at you and see you're very fertile, you're going to be having more children, that you can have a different birth experience next time. Totally different. And we need to be doing this at home. Like I said, like our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers, most of our grandparents weren't born in a hospital. They never knew that way of giving birth to children. This is a relatively recent thing to medicalize the birth process, and it's all about money. Natural
Talk about
birth,
that good bacteria at home.
That's right. Get the real dirt. That I'd say about $7,000 for a natural childbirth in the hospital where they're just catching the baby. You're gonna leave $7,000 of your dollars there, or your insurance company. A cesarean, which they often escalate you up into, is about $17,000 to $22,000. And what happens when it happens every time, that it's an ever-escalating set of interventions. First they'll say, it's not going fast enough. Then they'll give you this, then that, and then it'll end up that way. And what happens is somebody's got a golf date. Somebody's got to go home. Somebody doesn't want to be there all day. Birth is not called labor for nothing. It's work. And everyone around you needs to be in there with you, championing with you. The women in here will tell you who've been in my belly dance class, when they give birth, there's some of them in here. There's young ladies who were there at my birth. Raise your hand, Gina. She was videotaping my daughter being born. She was in my belly dance class the past 6 years. And I'm saying, she's a young person, and she said it's the best birth control she ever experienced. She's 18, and she's like, I'm not doing anything. Let me tell you, because what they did and what we do for each other is we're there. We're holding your hand, we're walking you around. You need to squat and walk and move and roll your hips and rock the baby out. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Those are the movements that get the child out into the world, not laying on your back trying to put an 8-pound bowling ball out, you know, fighting gravity. So next time you're going to have a different experience. I want to talk to you, and we're going to get you set with a midwife who's going to help you.
Okay, and I also, my son is on soy, like Similac formula and whatnot, and I noticed that he has a lot of mucus, which I know is coming from the soy, but I really do believe in breastfeeding.
How old is he?
He's actually 9 months today.
Oh, you can still go back to breastfeeding. We're going to talk after this. Okay.
You're going to talk. She's from New York.
Coffee talk.
I'll be back. Got some hands waving. They've been waiting back here for a while. Look out, Secretary. What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm going to be real quick. My name is John, and I want to say that this meeting that we have here, it should be very important to everybody. I've been waiting since I was 10 for a cure for cancer. All these stuff that we have, when it comes, we're not going to be able to afford it. Try to eat to live. Thank you.
There you go. And afford to get sick in this country. Yes, ma'am.
I want to shed some light on a disease that I've been hearing about in my church and in my community, and that's called sarcoidosis. And Bernie Mac suffers from it, and a couple of other celebrities have been suffering from it. And it's when I looked it up, it's like an anti-inflammatory disease. Am I correct, Papa? And when I first heard about it, it came in my family, and it started in one of my family members on their skin. But as I understand, it can go in any of their organs or anything like that. However, my family member, when she took the medicine, she then was diagnosed with diabetes.
Right.
And I was like, well, how did one have anything to do with the other? So could you expound on that?
First off, the pharmaceutical drug companies are very clever. They have no plans on letting you go. So that's why they have a pill for the other pill, for the other pill, for the other pill. They have illnesses that